Hello and welcome to this video and to our spare bedroom where I have spent a lot of time recently because, as you can hear, I am full of a cold. And did this come from my child or did this come from the fact that I've been out a lot? I don't know. She was a little ill. If you saw the I looked after her on my own video, I'll link it up here if you haven't. Obviously she was ill then, so I don't know if it's linked to that or whether the fact that I have, and this is what this video is going to be about, been to see Busted vs McFly and Peter Kay at the Sheffield Arena, plus I went out with Pete for an evening, and you know, all of that may have caused this illness, which I'm not enjoying, let's put it that way. But the events themselves were very fun. So let's start at the beginning. This has been planned for well over a year because tickets were booked and things like that. So Busted vs McFly was my Christmas present from my parents, and my mum came with me to go and see that because this time last year, so November last year, it was all announced that they were coming and all of that kind of thing. And I was like, it's such a shame, that'd be such a good gig to go to. I'd really like to go and see it, but I don't have anyone to go with, so I won't be doing it. And Mum was like, oh well, I'll come with you and we'll get the tickets for Christmas. So that's why we ended up there. We were sat in the section 111, which if you're going to like comedy or anything like that would probably be great, because it's lower down but tiered, so but there is quite a distance from the stage. I would say for a gig, possibly not, because it's stage then standing and then they've got some seats and then they have a massive like sound area in the middle and then the rest of it is completely blank and then it's our section. So I sort of felt a bit away from it. I didn't feel quite in a crowd, which I like to have when I'm in a gig. There's something about a group of people coming together and enjoying the same stuff. There is also the fact that the people around us didn't seem that into it. I know my mum was there, who, let's be honest, isn't a particularly big Busted or McFly fan. She knew a few songs, but she at least was, you know, getting into some of it if she could. Whereas, like, the people next to me sat down for the whole time and looked bored. Not sure why they were there, and that kind of thing was around us. The gig itself was a lot of fun. I knew it would be. McFly, I prefer, it's got to be said, although I was a teenager that had albums from Busted, and I've never owned an album from McFly, but in my older years I prefer McFly. I find that they have much better songs. I also have a slight bitterness against Charlie. How can you leave because you want to be in a proper band, and now that the proper band stuff hasn't worked, you've come back and you're accepting to be in Busted. It is sad that James is ill, so it was only Charlie and Matt for Busted. They gave a good show, but the songs from McFly are just better. The tour is now finished, so I can't talk about it without, you know, spoilers. But there's a bit where Matt and Dougie, so the bass players, are either side of the arena sort of roasting each other, which was a lot of fun, and then that kind of stuff continued for it. I heard before, so I wasn't disappointed when I went to it, but obviously I booked the tickets and it's a versus tour, so I was expecting them both to be like on stage and it being a bit more of a battle. But it was a McFly set, a Busted set, and then a joint set. All well and good, it was very enjoyable, but I wouldn't quite say that was a versus thing. The last one was a little bit more versus, but not hugely, let's put it that way. I did take some clips from the gig, and the ones that I deem appropriate and okay I will put in here. I will say that Matt Willis from Busted does a lot of swearing. In fact, I saw them at Godiva, and I think that's the Godiva that I actually filmed. I think I said it there as well, but I'll add the Godiva video up if you're interested. It's one of my very early ones if you want to see it. In fact, it might have been my first ever video. So if you want to see me and rudimental filming, watch that, although I don't actually think a lot's changed. but give it a go, see what you think. But yeah, Matt Willis does a lot of swearing. So there may be bits that I can't include because I don't tend to have that on my channel. But yeah, here are the clips from McFly versus Busted, other way around.
From forth the fatal souls of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed bands unleash their rage.
Hold me close and say a few words like you used to do. Dancing on the kitchen top, it's all about you, yeah. Down, yeah. Don't be mad, please stop the hate. Just be glad that they'll be waiting when we
So then obviously my parents came up for that. That was the Thursday night, which then meant that me and Pete could go out on the Friday night. So we headed off for a meal. We went to a tapas restaurant, which was really nice. The best thing was this like toast with this like chorizo spread. It was so good. I could have eaten loads of it. It was good. But the food in general was really nice. We couldn't get a table for like, so we had to go for like a 6:15 table, which is a lot earlier than we would have wanted because we would have put Eloise to bed and then gone out in an ideal world. And the restaurant was pretty empty, so I don't know why we had to book it then, but it was fine. But because we did that, it meant that we were finished earlier, so we were like, well, what should we do? So we decided that we were going to walk back, maybe get a drink on the way. On our way, we saw that there was a place doing ice cream, so we had an ice cream outside in November, and it wasn't too bad. It was quite mild, it was nice. I had a Malteser one, it was very good. And then we stopped off at a pub again, further up for a drink, and we played some Connect 4. The first game I lost in like 4 goes, and Pete like completely rinsed me for it, and then I started the next one and he did exactly the same thing. So he swallowed his words big time for that one. So we sort of took that as our anniversary night out, because our anniversary was this week, the following week. So 14 years of me and Pete. It's been a long time. So yeah, so we did that, which was really nice, and it was good to get out with Pete and talk about stuff. I mean, obviously we spoke about Eloise quite a bit, but you know, other stuff. We did a bit of reminiscing, all of that kind of stuff as well, so that was good. And then the Saturday, which is another reason my parents were here, is because I'd bought them tickets to see Peter Kay, which was also at the arena. So having only been to the arena like twice in the 3 years that we've lived in Sheffield, I've now doubled that in a weekend. But obviously with Peter Kay I couldn't film anything. We were basically in the same place, just a section above. We were in 211, and as I say, that was a good one to be in for comedy. It worked well. Obviously it'd be nicer to be a bit closer, because then we might have seen him a bit more rather than just on the screen, but I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference when you're doing comedy. He has lost loads of weight though. I was a bit shocked when he came out. I was like, oh, have we got a support or something? But no, it was just him. He's been doing this tour for like 3 years now, so a lot of people have seen it. I don't want to spoil too much because I do think it's continuing, I don't know. But there's a lot on TV themes, which went over my head a little bit, it's got to be said. He did do some misheard lyrics, which if he'd done like an hour and a half of that, I would have been on the floor. I find that so funny. I don't know why, I just do. That was my highlight. And then there were some other parts around it as well. My parents seemed to enjoy it, which was the main thing because it was their present. And yeah, good fun. But as I said, nothing that I can actually film on that one. And I don't normally go out, so having 3 nights out in a row wiped me a bit on the Sunday, and I had book club on Monday, so I've been out a lot and I'm not used to it, which I know is sad, but it's true. And now obviously I've got this illness and I don't know where it's come from. I'm assuming my daughter, most of the time it is, but it could have been the 2 times I've been in the arena. Sorry if things have changed, my memory card was full and now I've got no battery, so I don't know how much of this I'm gonna get. Alongside that, Eloise has been getting really into chores, so we've been taking the odd video. Here's her hoovering. And she likes to help me with the washing, so here's that one. Whose is this?
Mama, Papa.
This is Daddy's jumper. Daddy's jumper?
There.
Yeah, it goes in that one, doesn't it? Whose is this?
There.
That's Mummy's. Mummy's trousers.
Colors. Oh, let's have it. Socks.
Socks, yeah, that one's Daddy's. Can you put it in Daddy's pile? And yeah, generally we sort of just pottering around. We're not getting up to much, to be honest. I say not up to much as I've just explained 3 nights out in a row. But I'm thinking this is going to be a relatively short video. I am going to leave this one here, partly because I can't talk much longer, partly because I've got no battery. I am also filming a weekend vlog, so unfortunately you've got to listen to this bunged up voice for another video. But hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!